commercialized, to steal life. Is an anti-life program. It's moving from carbon-based life to silicon-based life to a digital twin of the world that they can control, that is disconnected from spirit. And
I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. In the bright glow of the dawn, I see myself clearly, bringing in a new day. The old way of doing things is done. I don't care what you say. Watch, don't sleep under your bed. They sleep inside your head. And if you haven't done the shadow work and left behind is where you stay. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the street. We gotta protect plus homeschool. Our babies is a must. They not just no moms, but also no pops. Expola, worshiping pedophiles, wanna feed out children's spirits to robots. Turn all of us from carbon-based to silicone-based. Should be where the shit show stops. Get back to doing for ourselves. Water system irrigation and grow crops. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to walk with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets. I'm saying I'm not some master teacher, no am I some pastor or preacher. Was released represent with this passion to speak of. After doing 25 years in the beast cuffs, realize they tried to teach us spiritual, mental, physical diet. They tried to feed us the fire of our ancestors resides in each of us. With that, I'm inspired to turn this heat up. I'm envisioning a world full of love and peace. Thus my decision is to war with this beast. Through tones, melodies, poems, and beats. But when the time comes, shoot it out in the middle of the streets.
We're really approaching almost like it's a Frankenstein moment, and they're framing it to us as innovation, right? Where we should all be so excited that this is happening, and I equate it to like the Golem bringing in like these robots. They would like to feed our life force, to learn us in every tiny detail, not to empower us, but to actually transform us into a robotic simulation that is under their full control.
Nah, bro. Come on. You almost there, bro. You almost there. Survive.
I do it die for Chi-Town. Who am I but Chi-Town? You young fool, I'm too fly to just slide out. Blue sky but high ground. A crown slash helmet, so my aircraft still spit. Can't be tied down or even seat belted. I look down, I see green like a Celtic. My heat pulverizes, the cheese is melted. The remnants of cash money, I dispelled it. You did the fusions in my eyes, I beheld it. The finger fucked that caused my hand, I dealt it. Felt the vibrate from the gut of my pelvic. It bust all of some ice and some velvet shit. So radiant, I keep a dark room well lit. Cause you little goofies are well quick. Body for real monkey velvet. Body you not for Mars, just a female's clip. As a kid, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a knife. I know I can spit my flows to shit. To a fly though, haters wanna crucify a real man. I still stand with the still hand, but we're healer man. It's not Cypress Hill, I'm Tuttle Sheep. I'm one tough cookie, I don't follow our set standards. Catch me, you gon' have to do more to scamper. Need more to scanners, I'm off the radar. I am as you goofies play God. Some worship the Christ, others pray to Allah. Chase a high, drink paper opera. You stagnated, well I straight evolve. At a rate, I'm dated space AC, y'all. Buster stuck in the case, face off. Active shape the state, use the fate, they fraud. Battlestar intergalactic, my mindset. Perfect comes from practice, so I rhyme best. I excel like I'm climbing a step. You got a lot to learn. I am adept, you of no concern. I am a threat. My measurement, width, lift, height, and depth. I'm just policy up. Flying a jet, straight to adversary. Martial Chronicles like Ray Bradbury. I'm a thorough guy, goddammit. Symmetric apparel of a fly bandit. Mohawk, aviators, aerodynamics. And it's like I'm an arrow in precise transit. A Christmas Carol lives what your fans get. Your rose and pearls, what I transmit as a transcript. Or I just spit it off the top. It's either shit or get off the pot. This shit's hot.
Wants to get his own crew. Everybody wants to get his own crew. And then they want the other little people never get a piece of the pie. I don't want to go for the pie. I go for you niggas that think it's all big too. I understand this. That's why you niggas are back. You niggas just know that I know you can't do nothing if you're broke. Listen to me, young people and old people too. Mostly black people. I'm talking to you.
So, y'all really thought that I was done with y'all.
I'm hungry too. And my music, and a lot of this music, it's only talking about the suppressed rising. I mean, the oppressed rising up against the oppressor. That's all. That's what my music's about. The oppressed rising up against the oppressor. So the only people that's scared are the oppressors. The only people who could have any harm coming to them are those who oppress. Simple as that.
3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. It's time for a change, gotta bounce up. The oppressor's about to get tossed up. I'ma lay him out, execution style. Too late for an apologetic claim. You wrapped in a cloak of blame. By God, it's overdue. Your time is in the end. Locked out, silent without sin. Put me on the planet with justice to win. The oppressor's about to get rolled down. With some pressures attached to the war zone. Revolution can start in the Arizona. I'm a messenger popping like Theracone. Backed by the honorable who sits at the pinnacle. Who judges the hypocritical, cynical, and the pitiful simple. My thinking is critical. I'm just ventilating of the actions of the protective service. Quick to pull the Glock, blast and kill. This don't take any kind of skill. No, I'm ill of all citizens who haven't took a stand. Or kneels too late when the caps get filled. Don't believe it till you see it. One hit to go home. You gotta have my visual sight. It's gonna be killed whenever I fight. From above, I'll be given the right. So you better be ready to ride tonight. On the way to the dawn daylight. We gon' rid them out, so gon' pass the kite. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender. 3 pound pressure, no weight lesser. Drop the oppressor, need no surrender.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I don't mean an ideal sense.
I'm sitting. What do they call them?
It's such a gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody.
I forgot because I don't mess with this stuff. But a cyber hug.
You want to be like Trump? Gimme.
How y'all doing today?
Step, crush.
Cyber hugs, everybody.
It's like nobody ever stopped.
Especially my brothers. Y'all need it more than ever. Everybody gets a cyber hug, especially my bros. Y'all need it like real. Our sisters definitely need it, but they need to come together and listen to the brothers so that way they can direct the brothers. I can't explain everything, but it should make sense. My morning, I haven't even eaten yet. I'll cook a couple of meals for me today, but I didn't eat them. I haven't eaten yet. It's supposed to rain about 67%. So I'm still gonna work. I don't care. I gotta go down there and pull out my little rain thing. Yeah, I gotta get some stuff done. You know, I'm gonna start building up too. Yeah, I'm gonna grab one of those too, cuz the deck. Yeah, T's about to get on his too. It's cool right now. Probably the best time. Oh. All right, let's get it in. So hey, what's going on? Oh Mac, salutations, Grand Ascension, Millennial. What's up, my beautiful sister? How y'all doing today? Onion too and garlic. Cilantro from garden. Oh, heck yeah. Bacon, eggs, queso, potatoes. Oh, you gonna send me all that? Well, I don't want to stay on here too long. I want to get this out and then I want to go ahead and eat a little something, sit down, let it digest for about 25, 30 minutes. I've been walking all morning, so all this AM. But I want to go ahead and get my food digested, and then I want to come out here and start drilling holes, leveling, get some plywood, start building up the back frame, start putting the bed part on. That's going to be, I still got to grind a little bit. I'm going to actually take it to grind. I got a sander. I got to go down here, down to shit. I got to pull out the green. I got a green, and I think the yellow one might be worn out, but it's a sander. So I can change it out, and I can go ahead and really take it down kind of quick to where I need it at, where I've lined it. And get the 2x4 in the front, make sure that it's angled. I don't have the bolts, but I'm gonna drill the hole for the bolts, but it's gonna be 2 screws holding it together at different angles. You get what I'm saying? I gotta drill those holes, get those screws in there. Then the meshing that's gonna go on the side of those, get those screwed in, you know, with like 1/2-inch screws just on both sides. So it's going to be really strong. Get the triangles cut. I got to measure those to perfection. Get the 2x4 in the front. Get the piece that goes on the top. Bring it in with the tension. And you know what I mean? Take it to the next level. I hope y'all went and watched the video where me and T put it up in the truck so you can see what it looks like. And also, like, I didn't see no comments, so obviously you're not asking no questions. And that's going to be kind of the topic today. A lot of you follow, and it's indicative. I make revenue when you watch the ads, right? We're the ones where have ads. That's why I said I can't be talking all that Z this and Jew. It's unnecessary. People know what's up. And they're not censoring most stuff because people in top places are saying it because as far as they're concerned, the end is pretty nigh. So all the lap dogs did their job as far as, you know, being obedient. But as y'all know, and this is not the first time, but they rolled out the Doomsday plane, landed in DC. And a lot of people don't know what the Doomsday plane is. And if you, I would just ask you Google it. As you see, whether it be Matthew or Mark, for those who know scripture, those are suggestions. Those are suggestions because they always knew they were going to get to this point. All right. But let me inform you to something. There are other things other than you. Now, if you're in the scripture, the Torah, it doesn't matter. It alludes to these facts. Now, does it create it? Is it based upon a hypothesis or something like that? Is it conspiratorial? That way everybody embarks on it based on, you know, the first War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells, people running around panicking. Why would that be the case at that early time in the so-called fake 1900s? Well, it's indicative to what would come, the alien invasion, this, that, and other. When you see what's going on. What I'm alluding to is the fact that the majority of people on Earth, and the reason why they need them dispatched, they can't have that mentality in the next world that they want to create. They have indoctrinated y'all so good that you can't really escape it. The programming. Most can't, the majority. So they don't need that to come over to the next. They really tightened in on things. This was an experiment, whether you like it or not. The problem is the people who could have succeeded and not been part of it, if they would have just held on, and that's why I took betrayal from the inside, was my people. And they weren't part of this up until the early 1900s. They would not partake. Fear, chaos, and how people fought back. Y'all don't know the stories of how we fought back, even against their military machine, and won on numerous occasions. Y'all would be surprised if you would start studying these things. But now we're at a point where the majority of our people have to be eradicated too. If it's the coming from the mount, Sermon on the Mount, coming down Baal and destroying 3/4 of our people by the story and definition, I can't say sadly, but terribly so. Some of us will be snatched away. I can't explain it. I saw it. It's not many. And they call it the rapture. No. God is real. I just don't use the term God. It's been perverted. Creation, who we are. Before everyone else, our people always had that one deity that was our savior. That one that allowed us to be more creative than any and everybody. And the world will bow on their knees, sadly, to the enemy of existence. There is not, if anyone, and I've been to a number of churches, non-denomination too, where these mouthpieces would sit there, but when God comes, you will bow on your knee. The creator, for the definition of God, does not require nor have need for you to make idols, to make images, to bow. You were created to exist. That's it. To walk in a different facade of your existence. To be tested. But not the way you are being tested. They could do all they want. Doomsday, planes, wars, all the idiots, bloodthirst, revenge, the lying of these worthless politicians and everything else. They're not escaping anything. Nothing. Y'all need to stop being fearful, being contaminated with their parasitical whims of their false ideologies. I mean, y'all are seeing it more and more. You're seeing a lot of police, especially that look Arab or Latino. Well, first of all, Spanish, Latino, all that stuff, those are like corporate identities, like African American. That is not the people. A lot of those are our brothers and sisters. And some of them have been moving out of that false dynamic. Whenever you see, I'm Latino, that's an ignorant person. You belong, you're a slave. Like, get your butt away from me. I'm Spanish. First of all, now you're alluding to a fiction of a narrative of a language pulled off of Latin. That has nothing. Latin doesn't mean Spanish. These individuals are just as bad as everyone else who don't know truth. I could profess to be in Spanish easily. And would be more comparable to something foreign in ideology that has nothing to do with any land. But I don't do that. Nor do I express being Chinese or Japanese, these new things. The Coolie, for those who took the time to look up, you will know that in the northern parts and the southern parts, just like in America and everywhere else, the indigenous people, they were our brothers and sisters. At one time, 15 years ago, everybody talked about the sheep people. And that was not the narrative. And I argued with those people and they still couldn't figure it out. These are labels created by the enemy for a definitive purpose of further segregation, identity theft, and amalgamation of all kind of things. One of my Mexican homie who took me to Mexico all the time, brother served me in the Navy. He hit me up. He said, I saw some of your YouTube channels. I'm not going to comment. Man, did you tell him how the kids was calling you Omeka? And things have been lost over 30 years easily. When I was in Belize, and people come up, are you Mayan? You can't make this up. But I says, no, I got an aunt named Maya and two aunts named Inca. We are in a world so dedicated to its delusion. And my whole thing was balanced to get you guys and anyone else who wants to stay away from that. It doesn't mean that you're not going to argue and have these fights, sadly. But to get you to look at everything not as a hypothesis, not as that amalgamation of their scientific studies, but to reconnect to the fact that you exist and there's purpose. It doesn't matter what has happened, what's been manipulated, what's been messed with, it doesn't matter. And your family. And that's what we need to get back to. And as many people have a lot of emotions and feelings, wars and rumors of wars. There are wars going on in so many different facets. How is that no one can see it? You have enemies being trained by the CIA, Mossad, whatever you want to call them, on this on my soil. They're being put in positions. They're policing. And they're doing it with the most ignorance. They don't, you miss the Constitution and they look away. And nobody can see it. And while everybody's running around dramified, they're removing fluoride from the water, they state. Should have never been there in the first place. The poisoning of food is still ongoing because now it's medicinal, but not the purpose of healing. The fact that everyone that went and got the shot, I'm still seeing people argue about the righty or conservative when that last 4 years, if you want to dismiss that, something is mentally wrong with you. And most people cannot even, I know people who are martial arts instructors and teachers and been doing it for like 30 years, 40 years. And even they are programmed and conditioned. See, we've gotten to the point we've allowed talents and skills to be the premises of a status. It was never supposed to happen. Vaudeville has taken main stage. And if you're not a player in the audience, heckler or whatever on the stage, you're supposed to be out back by the dumpster with no voice, no one to see you, no one to hear you. Like the person that makes sure that your plates are clean in the restaurant, to which nobody pays attention to, but give everything to the chef. You see what I'm saying? You see how the embarkation of your existence is, it's mundane, you know? Everybody wants to be right. Remember, I'm not here to, this is no competition. I'm not here to be right or wrong. I'm always expressing to y'all to research, to do your best to find whatever you can, to dismiss the colorification. Because if I was to sit here and tell people that color didn't apply to the melanated people of this world, it didn't. It applied to everybody else. Black phenomenon based off of blacking and blackness that has nothing to do with our people was something utilized after war to start disenfranchising them from the what you call it. And so what they did was in the churches and everything, which was part of their only reason why people went to the churches, because they practiced one God, which before that was never done. When you talk about conquering of the world, right? And I'll get to the other part I was going to state. You talk about Rome and all that, that's those individuals, okay, who's creating all the problem. That utilize you as a vice and a tool to conquer everything. Because your attentive love and compassion and everything has been redirected to the things outside, away from your own family. No one else could see it or explain it because they've had a taste of the good life while being perverse in their natural nature. And it's messed up to say this, but it is what it is. The natural nature of racism, ideology, theftism, the big superiorism and isms. And it's all a facade of falseness. I watch some of these Aryan fronts and all these individuals and talk. And I came across one and I knew who he was out of Florida. And I really wanted to reach out to his followers, his little racist followers, and let them know who he really is. Surprisingly, they haven't even figured it out. Zionists. But I'm not here to do that. If they're so smart and so perfect and so great, they should be able to figure it out themselves. And this has always been the thing. I remember my great grandmother talking about, the Jewish girl was sitting there screaming, that man raped me, and she didn't even live in town. And the man didn't even know who she was. And of course, my grandmother said she was 12, and they took him out, and they cut him up. They didn't stab him, they just cut him up. They poured stuff on him, lit little spots on fire while he was chained with a heavy chain around his ankles, his wrists, in front of him too. And then they took the very chain, wrapped it around his head, and pulled him up, not strangling him, gurgling, legs on fire. And they started to shoot him, giving even the children, who are grown right now, to shoot at him. And even in that, he would say, I forgive y'all. Now, I can't say his name. I don't want to get more in detail of what they did after that, or to his body. They turned them into talisman, like false protection, energy. Now, this has kind of been lost other than occultists who partake in this. And there's many more stories like that. Now, I've gotten it firsthand. And after that, the land all of a sudden was misappropriated by the fake bank, utilized to create a venture and corporate ideology. So it was all created using the ignorance of many based on the premises of a false narrative. Our people have innocently died for well over a century, more that can be accounted. Our graves dug up everywhere. And they really think that they can walk away from this. While they got y'all focused on Palestine and everywhere else, they're behind all of these. Look at Myanmar, look at Hindustan, look at China, look at everywhere. A small number. Joey Diaz said it best. You give me 5 and y'all know the rest. Here's some of you even participate in it thinking that you're safe. What if I was to sit here and say all those that they're digging up were the same ones that performed it last time, and they've made trophies out of them, even though they betrayed them? Storytelling, that's all I'm doing. Let's say hypothetically, Pompeii. What if I was to point out the fact that those are the families who betrayed everyone else? So they make statues of them, give you a false history, and then you run with it. There was a volcano up there. Oh, shut up. That's all happening now. Same thing. And yet, everyone has chosen to take the easier road, which is the most, I don't even know how that's easier. Because you know how it ends, right? If I give you rumors, if I give you wars and rumors of wars, what's your mind going to do in a state of sublime ignorance? You've been educated about wars. We all were. That's all that was on TV. Violence and Acme brands and the cartoons, G.I. Joe, Thundercat, the sword, the lightning comes down. It goes on and on and on. And y'all think that this is normal? Y'all think that this is balance? You think that you can escape this? Well, any of you that think that you can, or you've agreed with that, please explain it to me, and I will entertain your resourceful response. You know, who's that up in here? All of it, all of it, all of it. Oh, yeah. Yo, Yvonne, what's happening? Kanoko Bees, how's it going? Always back up with your own research so you can internalize the truth. Absolutely, millennial. Yes, honey. Faces in the stone. What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to the tribe, brother, sister. Well, I don't, you know, it doesn't matter. Family. That's why I always say that when it's any or Cidanelli or Familia, or, you know, like a Pure Meal video was good. You know, we like he always says pura vida, mi gente, and there's so many other ways. And I was at one time going to do it in different languages that I've been studying. What happened, cuz? But you know what I'm saying? So welcome. You know what I mean? I just want to see who else anybody come in. Japan, very different because they were never conquered. They still keep their indigenous history. No. I've been to Japan so many times, and I've been up there with the Ano people, and they've been white. They've been changed all the way around. It doesn't matter what anybody says. And I firsthand, I even practiced with a couple of them. Shotokan, and a couple of things that they show me that's not even taught over here or anywhere else. So I've been there. I've been in there. What they call castles and stuff that don't have nails, screws, or anything. They are intricately put together with the best wood carving, grain, not against the grain. And I was watching, these things would shake older than the people who are there who conquered them. So no, they have been changed, completely changed. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference when you can actually tell a story because you've been there and sat with the people and talked to them, went to the books. compared to, see, this is why I always say, it used to be I'd go crazy, right? When people thought I did, it was act. When people talk about things they really know nothing about, I always say, don't talk about what you really don't know. It's all right. Nobody's wrong to speak about the things that they think or believe, but always be very concise. Choose words politely. That's only if you really want to know. Other than that, just leave it alone. Continue to learn, study, to research. Because there ain't that many of us. There are people who have traveled, I used to hang out with, and they didn't learn anything. It was about traveling, the food, the coffee beans. It was about the women. It was never about the land. They've accepted the people there. And it wasn't even about whether they accepted it. It was just the narrative without knowing real history. When I used to sit up in high school, knowing that up until 1939, they were teaching to do away with Tartary, up until 1939. And we're not talking about like the school education system you see today, because that wasn't even enacted until later. But before they started teaching the education system, they had to make sure that all the wars, everything had gotten rid of that history. Then they started teaching the new fake history around in the 50s and 60s. I should know, I still have my great uncles who fought in that fake Civil War. I was going to school getting beat, for those who actually listen and watch my old videos, because I was not allowed to talk about Tartary. I was not allowed to dismiss the Civil War. It was what they were saying based upon curriculum, which was an utter lie. They said my great uncle said we've been fighting them for a long time before they even went and fought. And that was everywhere. The world is not intrusive, as the definition of what the world means, what you have been made to think. The earth, the plane that we live upon, sadly not really living, is not what people think. But don't take my word, never. Research it with new eyes, new way of thinking, not to believe, not only to know, but to feel it. And when you do, you don't have to go fighting with everybody. It's unnecessary. If it's meant to be, those of you who do will be able to illuminate this with individuals. Other than that, don't do it. It takes almost a lifetime to learn these things. You know, when I was in high school, middle school, I thought everybody knew who, like I did. But that was not the case. When I got into the latter parts of high school and I was fighting the teachers and fighting the principal, social history, your history lessons are lies, that's not General Lee, that's made up, that's not Abe Lincoln. What happened to, 1942 being Cosby, Holiday Inn, where they were making fun of the real Lincoln, and it goes on and on and on. The fact that the Hitler that they think that died over there has been in South America, well, he's dead now probably, but the fact that we can't remove this false sense of fight, that we have embraced it as if it's a comfort zone, should always show that we are not who we are supposed to be. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to break away from, because there are those who enjoy that to their own demise. However they want to interpret it, it doesn't matter to me. Every time I see so-called Arabs, whether in UK, America, debating religion and everything else with certain individuals, lately it has been these very out of shape, nasty, grotesque, sickening individuals who are on the other frame, who have been made to believe they're comfortable so they can act out a certain way. Now, mind you, in Brazil, a lot of places around the world, they've been beating them up and chasing them out. What's shocking in the stock of things, I had a friend of mine in New York reach out to me the other day. And he says, you know, Red, your video's getting around. A lot of people ain't saying nothing. They're kind of embarrassed. You know, a lot of people remember me, you know, living over there. And I said, it's amazing. All those big, those tough people, and they haven't done nothing to set anything right. It's because the majority of you still move in fear. You are fear-based. A lot of you speak because you think you're intelligent and intellectually sound, and you're just regurgitating gibberish and nonsense to those who know otherwise. All the horrendous acts and everything that would throw caution in the wind and say, hey, we got to do something about this. Everybody's, how do you say it? They're kind of riding the train because it's not bumpy enough. They're kind of sipping their tea because their hands aren't shaking that bad. They are so comfortable. Remember, I used to get an analogy about the lily pad, the cauldron, the little wood under there, nothing lit, and the frogs are like, yeah, all in the lily pad in the water, the cauldron, big old cauldron. They don't even know what it is. They just put it there and they just, yeah, getting the flies or whatever, larvae, mosquito larvae, and just enjoying it. And then here's the insidious ones underneath stoking the fire. They got the ferro rod up, they're sparking it. They, you know, they're feathered, they're a little tender. They got the wood going slow and they're stoking it, they're putting more wood and coal. And before you know it, the frogs are like, yeah, it's a little warm here. I'm a little tired. They go to sleep, and next you know, they got frog legs and frog soup. Well, that's the world we live in. And many of the individuals who are working with the enemy will be subjugated to the same thing that they think they're going to subjugate everyone else to. That's how you kill two birds with one stone. Ergo, the statement, the profession of and getting rid of two things, inconvenient things, with one weapon. And we see it. And yet no one takes it upon themselves to stop it. No one takes it upon themselves to stop it. Hey, Carrie, what's up, mama? Hey, what's happening? No, I hear you, faces in the stone. I hear you, beloved. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Trust me, this is what we do. Of men's ass, yes. And how about this one? You know, this is the funniest one. And I don't know. They say with them, in order to be like them, you have to come from a female. Yet, in their whole living, the male is the. Are y'all aware of that? So if you come from the female, it's the only way you. But if you come from a man, you can't be. So what does that say? Yet the majority of them, to create the ones that are there today, when it all starts, they rape the children to make the new race. Make it make sense. When it takes me and her to make that individual, there's no parceling out because both bloodlines are that important. Well, let's go back to Genesis, right? It's all a mental cartwheel. And they win that way because people have bought into it. Because they don't know nothing else, because they don't know the truth. When I was on the res, I said, hey, y'all know about the great cities that were here before? No, I know you don't, because from Fort Defiance to here, they bust you. They made sure you got here, you didn't see anything, you don't know anything. When I said my great grandmother worked in Indian training schools, they had a hard time. But what were they going to do? Deny it? I would like to see that happen. But because I have videotapes of my great grandmother talking about these things, You know, little video. We used to be beatboxing and making our raps. I used to sit down and have my little cassette player, my little hidden one. When my great grandmother was talking, I'd record her. Subversity, subjugation. Have y'all noticed that they're not even spraying anything? Not saying they don't do it over the water because they're in the next phase. Everyone's inundated with heavy metals, toxins, and everything else. You think that they haven't done this to people? What do you think the purpose in the 1800s of collecting our ancestors' bodies, taking them and cutting them up and divvying them up parts and, you know, all the stuff that they were doing, opening the cavity, looking at everything. What do you think that was for? They convinced you through their fake education system that this is something that was always done for medicine. Yet we perfected and created the first brain surgery, heart surgery, So I would like for somebody to be able to explain that without their fake new narrative whitewashed out of the world, but based on facts. And I studied medicine, I still do. And I'm also aware of many things they've changed overnight. And people buy into it because that's what curriculum did. Remember I stated when I was in college, it's funny, you want to go turn in your book, you get half the price. Oh, we're not using that more. You can just throw it away. What? That's how they see you. You know? They see y'all like something to throw away in the garbage. Now, I read to y'all a few days ago, the Goy is not just the people who they say need to die. It's them as well. And they created that. I asked if any of y'all would read the Talmud, the original Talmud, not the downplay, keep it kosher while we're doing what we're doing because we don't need people to find out. No, the original one is pretty sickening. And y'all remember when I was reading Arthur Kessler's 13th Tribe, and there's another plus other in the books, when they created the Talmud. It's brand new. When you want to enrich the minds, and when I'm not saying enrich it for good purposes or deeds, but to pervert it, you don't think that's not a practice, well-known science? You know, it's baffling how the individuals get out there. The video of the cop throwing a rabbit against the vehicle, shooting all the dogs. They don't know law, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, but I'm the authority because I got on the costume. The fact that the Supreme Court says if you're traveling, you don't need an ID, nor license plates, or any of that stuff. That's for corporation. That's for purposes of fiat. But you have these idiots who don't know no better, these absurdities. Even the cops who recently retired, who were part of that, started seeing and going, and I even hear someone says, oh, but you got to retire and do dumb things. I didn't know it was that bad because you didn't want to. You've got cops making over 6 figures a year. If you want to create more harm with wrong purposes, if you want to devalue life, then you create value where life is unimportant. I watch videos of the men flying drones, and I look at the people sitting there with no weapons, unarmed. They've been out to fight. They never wanted to be there. They were snatched up, put out there. They got rid of their firearms. They were hidden in foxholes. And I watch these little Bolsheviks flying their drones, and they see him. And he's sitting there like, I don't want to fight. And they take the drone and blow them to smithereens. And you want to go over there and fight for Ukraine because of this fake narrative based off of after World War II? That Russia, Stalin, who was from the Bolshevik bloodline, murdering the majority of his own people after the Bolsheviks had killed over 60 million and built them things way up in the ice, you know what I'm saying? Even Putin himself comes from that bloodline. What about the indigenous people that were in the south of so-called Prussia? Where are they all at now? There are melanated Russians that are well hidden, kind of light skinned, and they're not from Africa. See, this is what I'm talking about. We have this embarkation. In order to change the old world, you have to create a new world order. And in order to create that order, you must rid the world of that ancient order. And ancient doesn't mean necessarily, but you know what I'm saying. And even with that, you have certain individuals on the other line that feel like, yeah, that's a good thing. No, you play a part in that. They don't want that in the next world. They don't even want your genes in the next world. And people can't see it. I'm going to say this one more time. You know, I don't like the word, but God is very real. Very real. But he endowed it, to make you some of you feel comfortable, endowed everyone, or they endowed everyone with the abilities to take care and remedy everything. And no, people love running around in the cascade and the coalition of the enemy's narrative. You know? What's that? Can you spell Tomlet? Can who spell Tomlet? You have me at high altitude about above clouds or lately red. I know, I see it. You know, it's staggering. And you guys, I know TikTok and all that, you guys have seen the certain handful of individuals who actually know what they're talking about compared to everyone else who, you know, piggyback this, that, which is there's nothing wrong with that at all. And even in that, hey, beautiful, even in that, individuals still have this preoccupied condition that they know. Well, I always say, if you know, why is it that nothing has changed? I always ask that. What's up, buddy? What's this fly? You being annoying as heck, bro. You chill. Cut off. Did you get it? Oh, he got him a moth. Boy, y'all, they sexing and banding on me. Yeah. What you doing? You climb up on this chair and grab some of these humping flies. Anyway. What was that? Let's see. Talmud. Yeah, the Talmud. I'm sorry about that. I couldn't figure out what you were saying there, brother. My apologies. Talmud. No, Talmud. The Talmud. Let me see if they got the original one. I don't know with the shade. You might be able to see it. I know it's not the greatest camera in the Note 10, but you can pull it up too. But see if you can pull up the original Talmud. I think the original Talmud that my senior chief, he's long passed away. He passed away about 28 years, 30 years ago, and he was about 70 something. My senior chief, a good friend of mine, said he had got to see a Talmud because he's of that, but he's a Christian though. He chose not to follow that way. And he didn't want to go over to Palestine. He loved here, you know what I'm saying? He said that the original Talmud, when they used to go with his uncles and all them, because they were Zionists, them, he said it looked like it had human skin on it. I don't know. But when you got one of them, and his last name was Koenig, that was not the first, not the AO1 Koenig, but his MO doesn't matter. He was a senior chief. I think he might have made master chief. I don't know. I got out before that. I remember me and him talking. I was talking about my uncles and, you know, in Brooklyn and how dark they were. And he was like, yeah, he was letting it, you know. And me and him used to sit down and we drink our Pabst Blue Ribbon and a couple of shots of Jack Daniels or that dang on wild turkey. Oh, that stuff used to make me throw up so bad. But anyway, and he would literally sit there and start telling me, oh, I was always in the right place. And his wife would come out and he was always trying to get me to smash on his daughter. I was like crazy. Anyway, no, for real. And she was pretty. She was thick little mom. But anyway, I had a hard time even listening to him sometimes when we getting into who's high, you know what I'm saying? The triple X's and all that, you know, like the big old jugs or Coquito or White Lightning, you know. But the things he said made sense, you know. And we're dealing with such a deep perversion that its insidious nature is to lie, to be dismissive, to gaslight, to throw caps all up at you. And some of you have the conversation with them. You know, they talk fast, and before you know, it's like, and you want to say, can I talk? And it's like, well, hey, pleasure talking to you. And they go. This is real stuff, y'all. You know what I mean? Now, at no time am I saying anything I'm saying is right or correct, except for when I point out it's a fact, based on what I've seen, contrite to what I've seen. People don't like that. They didn't teach me that. No one told me that. My mammy and my pappy didn't tell me that. Then that means you're uninformed and sometimes ill-informed. But it doesn't stop the fact that maybe something there could be based on a reality. Right now, you're dealing with it. You're at war. Just that our people are so docile, they haven't accepted it yet. Because let me tell you how the police work, the nasty ones. They'll go out there and do something heinous, as they are doing right now. And if everybody was to react, they would just go and bring in the National Guard and the military, and some of them would go and put on the same uniform, and they would look for you, because that's why they're taking pictures with cameras of you when you're doing constitutionally protected stuff. That's why I was telling some of these auditors. I mean, they record you here. I mean, and it's gonna be worse. I'm telling you right now. Why do you think it rains and they're flooding cities and towns around the world? The tornadoes that people have seen in places where tornadoes never happen. Not only does it get rid of the old folks who still may have some stories and truths to tell, it gets rid of a lot of children who could probably fight back when they figure this all out. They don't care about no life whatsoever. Nothing. Remember, I put a post up going way back of this chip, microchip. And some people don't think that there's other things out here helping. Well, inside that chip, deep within it, x-rayed 1,000,000 times, there was even more advanced technology. Our people don't know how to do that. That is something else. There's a video going around with this super soldier with mechanical legs who kicks this concrete-filled 50-gallon drum into this wooden obstacle that we climb over in the military in boot camp, right? Is it real or is it not? What does it matter? Have any of you trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I had this little back and forth match with a couple of little knucklehead gang members who got upset. I said, let me tell you something. Y'all, I've been getting knocked out left and right. Standing up at outdoor windows in Cali or New York, and skinny with your tank top, with your black and mild, and light-skinned Arabs, whatever, whoever is sitting there getting something. And the other guy was telling them, hey, look, or somebody saying, not today, you better back off. And you're getting put to sleep. And you don't realize is while y'all been running around thugging and creating fear in your own neighborhood, everybody else has been training. It's illegal for you to carry a gun and you just run around shooting up everybody, killing little innocent babies and everything. But they actually got people training them how to walk and move and be tactical, speed load, remove a jam, clear it, come up until the other one partakes, with the firearm, and then go back to the rifle. None of y'all know how to do that. The bullets go off and I watch these videos and the first thing they're looking and they're running and hiding and ducking. They're not even attempting to get away and take one. You little thug gang, little goofy, listen to these old knuckleheads who are boy lovers in the music industry. Ain't none of y'all ready with your little hundreds of little monkeys running behind you. You give me a team of 5, put everybody down. For those of us who train. And they kind of need us to be old, or they can subjugate us to the very things that are happening that most are being subjugated to. I'm a little different, but I'm just here, like I said, I'm not here to keep the peace, stop the peace. I'm not here to, none of that. It's balance. That's it. This little stinky, old, nasty balance. Whether you like it or not. That's why most of you are in the position you're in now, because you didn't want to believe or know all the things that were happening to get you to this point. So you think I care whether somebody actually believes what I'm saying? I don't give a rat's behind. People, hey, Tony, what's up, beloved? I practiced jiu-jitsu until I was about 25. I'd love to get back into it, but I feel like I remember it all. No, you got to practice. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm not going to go out the black belts I got and all that. You've got to practice. It don't matter. You have to practice. I'm attempting to get more women involved in it. That was why I was on the rares downtown. I was teaching women and children martial arts and boxing and Samoan bow break and all that stuff for free. How to increase their pain tolerance. Yes, some things that are seem controversial. But they said, yeah, I want to learn it. And I was like, okay. I helped ex-police officers get back on the force who had put on 50 pounds. And they used to be in my living room. I'd take the table out, put it on the back, that big old living room, the dining room, with a kitchen dining room. And we'd be like 15 of us on the floor. They'd fall on me. I'm by the steps. They're all in front of me and outside the door. And everybody's following me for like 2 hours. Exercise, all that. Meditation, all that. Then I got to the point where, I didn't know I was supposed to take a couple of months off and let my heart heal completely after being in my lungs, being poisoned. And I didn't know that because they didn't tell me that. Miss Leonard, she didn't express that while I was doing the breathing exercises in the little chamber. And so that comes with whatever it came with. It came with whatever it came with. Excuse me. But you see what I'm saying? We don't work together. In y'all's mind, you have become the staple of madness and accepted the fact that you got to be in the military. You got to be a correction officer. You got to be in the police department. You got to be in the shit in order to practice together, because they show you clearing houses where everybody's practicing how to move in the room and how to, you know what I'm saying? While the rest of y'all just run around in the streets and work and go party on a Friday and wait and kill your brain cells and body and then go and do it again in the same routine that keeps everybody so dang docile. Afraid, but walking around like they're not afraid. Anyway, I didn't want to stay on here long. I just wanted to come on and share that. I'm going to read a little later. While it's out now, I need to eat. I need to get these things built. The 60, remember the 2x6, get those cut off, get the hole drilled so that way you guys can see, well, the bolts and the caulking. I gotta get that off there and out of the nail gun bag. And we can start building up, getting the bedding on. Did any of y'all look at the video where me and T put it on the back of the truck, pulled it up and we put it up on there? Did any of y'all see that? What do you think? I'm waiting on comments. I mean, comments help me create revenue. Watching the ads help me create revenue. I can remove the Cashapp if people are just partaking in it. I'm not here for you to like me or dislike me. I'm here because it might motivate other people to do things that they haven't done. It's so many things. And I think that I'm kind of meeting the niche of all that. I hope so. You can always say, well, Red, you ever thought about, and I'll look at it, you know? Hey, 80s born. Facts. Dead sleep this morning, Mom. So my training had me there with 4 minutes. Wow. Your mom fell? But it's a good thing your training had you right there, man. Wow. Well, you know, okay? Always smoke, bro. All right? Oh, 80s born family, excuse me. I didn't, you might be the female, right? 80s born. It doesn't matter. What the hell? Anyway, again, blessings. Well, blissfulness, because blessings are a bad thing too, actually. Wow. Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna get off of here, and when I eat, let food digest for about 20, 25. I'll be good with 25 minutes. Then I'll make sure it's 100% and start the recording and get the building until it starts raining and going retarded on us, because it's gonna be a good one. I had a little lightning in the cloud. I don't know if it's still the case, because you know it changed. Let me see what they're saying. And I have a Cash App too. Until you guys start watching and supporting and getting the views and the comments and helping build the revenue, I appreciate it. It's 79 degrees, beautiful. So it went from 31 to 9%. So at 1 o'clock, we're looking at 44% up to about 4 o'clock. And then from there, we're looking at, excuse me, I had to go into the, what you call it. It always changes. All right. So we're at for the next 2 days, it's going to be anywhere between 40 to 60% chances of showers, a little bit of lightning, maybe a thunder, and it's at different places. So it could miss here. It has before, or it could hit like all but Jesus. You know what I mean? Well, let me hit this right quick, and then I'm gonna get off of here. Let me hit this. Yeah, appreciate it. Bliss. Yeah. Oh, hospital. Oh, yeah, the hospital. Oh, okay. Well, make sure it's all right. Well, thank goodness your training paid off. Go look. No, the video's there. Let me see. Because you got me. Well, oh my goodness. Are you saying it's not there? Where's the? Let me go on YouTube. Oh, turn that thing on. All right. Excuse me. Die Mini Truck Camper, home built, beautiful family. It's there. And then the other one, which is the one that was 28, 30 minutes. It's right there. It's there. And like on it, people. I appreciate the likes, the thumbs up. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like it. I'm very aware that I can come across a plethora of different ways. It's not ego. I don't move with that. But there are times when I just want to kick the willy bubble. You know what I'm saying? I see dumb things happening, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I don't want to be pleasant or nice to it. I guess that's the way to get y'all to say, I don't have to be pleasant and nice to this goofy stuff, but you don't have to entertain it either. So that means that you don't have to be in the same room. You don't have to walk down the same street. You don't have to be on the same block. You can actually remove yourself. Best thing they always do. You know what I mean? Always, always. Absolutely. Feel too old to be homeless. John Nicholson, what are you talking about? All right, Facing the Stone. But he said someone's too old to feel homeless. Okay. I know where you're at, but that's be another topic. We're beyond that. But yeah. Homeless on earth. Homeless under the greatest roof. Homeless because of what the enemy's done. Keep the circle small. Yo, that is what I was about to, before you just popped up. Keep the circle very small, people. All right? And I'll see you guys here in a couple hours. All right? Appreciate y'all. My beautiful sisters, excuse me if I called you a dude. I should have said dudette. And then my brothers, you protect them sisters. You hear me? They're the strength. Y'all the power. Can't have one out. Can't have one without the other. All right? See you guys in a couple hours.